The country's largest union of federal workers is calling on Congress to pass a short-term funding bill and immediately end the shutdown. In a statement Monday, the American Federation of Government Employees argued the shutdown is an avoidable crisis, harming American families and workers across the nation. Meanwhile, in a win for the AFGE and other labor unions, a judge has extended its order blocking the Trump administration's efforts to lay off thousands of federal employees amid the shutdown. Joining us now, the national president of the American Federation of Government Employees, Everett Kelly. Thank you very much for coming on the show and joining us. To which side do you appeal to here on ending the shutdown? Who do you think is more responsible?
You know, I'm not here to appeal to either side. I'm here to represent the 820,000 federal and D.C. government employees that I represent. I'm saying that it's time to stop the shutdown and get on with business, because Americans are suffering. The people that I represent are suffering. You know, and when I look and saw them in food lines, I knew that it was time for something to change. So I'm not here to point fingers at anyone. I'm here to say, let's get to the table and get this resolved.
President Kelly, you are also a minister of the gospel. You and I have worked together. You've worked with many of us. And though many of us may have different views on who to blame, talk about the fact that the ministerial side of you and union president side of you are looking at the pain your members are going through. Because I think sometimes we get caught up in the politics and the chatter on TV, that we're talking about real people here that are really suffering. Give us some kind of examples of what your members are really facing day to day that are not on any of these platforms or television and all. They're having to live through this crisis.
You know, and I'm glad you asked that question, because just yesterday I talked with, some of the members that represent other councils, and they are frustrated. They are saying, it's time for this to end, but at the same time, when you think about being a minister, that I am, and I look at the people that are hungry, the people that are standing in lines, and my mind goes to the book of Matthew, chapter 25, where it talks about, when you did it to the least of these, my brother, you've done it unto me. And so that's the reason why I'm saying it's time to end the shutdown, because people are suffering, people are hungry, people don't, and they could lose their homes, because just like the rest of America, 65% of America live from paycheck to paycheck, and the people that I represent are no different. So that's the reason why I'm saying it's time to end the shutdown, and it's not about partisanship. It's about the people that I represent.
President Kelly, can you talk to us about what a trying year this has been for the members of your union? This, of course, early on we had DOGE and the indiscriminate cuts, and so many workers suddenly either laid off, some rehired, some not, those who had to justify their employment with weekly emails. The list goes on and on about how trying and traumatic that was. We have Russ Vought, OMB director, saying he wants to make life hell. I'm paraphrasing, but only by a little, for federal workers. And now, of course, we have this shutdown. Just speak to us about what it is like for the people you represent.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. The people that I represent are frustrated. They're angry, and they're saying enough is enough already. When you look at the fact that we started out this year, with the DOGE, we started out, with them threatening and mocking federal employees, gutting the services that the American people need. And these are people that are patriotic. These are people that take care of veterans. These are people that make sure that the food that we eat is safe. These are the people that make sure that the skies we fly through is safe, and the air that we breathe is good air. These are the people that have suffered over these last 9 months. It's been 9 months of hell. But one thing for sure, we will fight for these members. We will fight every opportunity we get when the laws are violated and their rights are violated. We'll be in court, just like yesterday. We won an injunction against this administration for illegally trying to rip federal employees, and we'll continue to do that as long as we are here. And we will be here to represent those members.
National President of the American Federation of Government Employees, Everett Kelly. Everett, thank you again for being with us this morning.